I'm Sam Ringwald, CEO, co-founder of ConryTech. So I've been in commercial air conditioning for the last 20 plus years, bringing new technologies to market. And I've had the privilege of bringing a number of technologies to market that now have 60% global market share. So we've air conditioned billions of square feet of buildings. The products we've made in the past are now used by every manufacturer in the world in that space. But we decided we would found a new startup called ConryTech to reinvent air conditioning. So instead of just taking the worst parts of a system, making them better, which is what we did in the past, we are completely throwing away the rule book and starting again. Yeah, so it's all around how do we deliver air conditioning better? So how do we make it more sustainable? How do we reduce energy consumption? What many people don't realize is that air conditioning takes about 2/3 of a building's power. And so if we can do something to significantly impact that, obviously the greenest kilowatt is the one that we never use. So we've developed an entirely new approach to that, which we've patented. So our focus has been developing that technology around our patent, which will allow us to go into a building with a far more sustainable system that not only will halve people's energy bills for their entire building, but it'll actually make the buildings much more comfortable for every individual. So as I said, this is an entirely new method. We really threw away the rule book on how it's always been done. And so in most large commercial buildings, you have a centralized system. We have patented a new distributed method where we can decentralize, we can bring in little hyper-efficient micro units that we spread throughout a building. They allow us to deliver just the right amount of heating and just the right amount of cooling to wherever it's needed in a building with precision. And that precision allows us to unlock a huge amount of energy savings by bringing the heart of the system closer to the people. Now we only do the absolute minimum work required, and therein lies a lot of our energy savings. So it's a new approach, it's all new hardware, all new technology, and really it creates a whole new level of flexibility to what you can do in the building, what you can expect as a customer, as a tenant, in a space, whether you're in a hotel or an office block or a university, just experiencing better levels of comfort than ever before, knowing that you're using much less energy than has ever been possible. Look, I'm sure our challenges are much the same as any startup. So despite having started several businesses in the past and grown those into successful global businesses, the need for capital is always a huge constraint on any startup. Developing new hardware in particular is a very expensive proposition, takes many years. We've been at it for nearly 5 years now. We have not yet released our product into the market. And so you're spending a lot of money on the research and development, you're spending a lot of money on buying the tools and equipment you need, you're spending a lot of money on the raw parts and consumables to build your product. And that just requires a huge amount of capital. And getting capital for a hardware product in any market, particularly in Australia, is quite challenging. So we've got customers on the other side awaiting eagerly our product based on their experiences with our previous products, but we still need to get there. So we still need to find the money to finish the product testing and roll it into production and get it out into the market. So we have previously already saved about 1 billion tonnes of CO2 with our previous products. It's our aim to save our next gigaton of CO2, and so the impact will be significant. I mean, buildings account for a huge proportion, as you would know, of emissions, and in fact air conditioning, if you drill down very specifically into air conditioning just for our comfort, so excluding refrigeration for food and medicines and so on, just our comfort alone accounts for about 15% of global energy-related emissions. And so our aim is to really tackle that sector, which is really not very spoken of. People are talking about aviation or automotive and so on. Our comfort is responsible for far more emissions than any of those, and is growing and is expected to triple by 2050. And so we're really trying to impact that space, have a huge impact on how much energy is consumed and how much emissions are generated from our comfort as the world continues to heat up. We're really moving into a testing phase now. So we've built our prototypes, we've validated the tech, we've spoken with customers, we've sort of validated all of what we're doing and our patents have been granted. So really our focus now is on how do we test it and validate it. I mean, the efficiency numbers that we're seeing are unheard of in this industry, and so we need also some third-party validation to help us share that news, because really we are trying to create a step change in this industry. And so we need more real-world test cases so that we can then go to customers with the confidence to say, this will do X in terms of saving on your building. We expect that to be about 50%. We just have to confirm the final exact numbers.